Okay, so I've got my 2 collars done, one for each side. And if you'll notice, see how much extra fabric is inside that collar? And that is good, because we're gonna need extra, because it's a flat collar, the seam out, the style edge seam has to turn all the way under and lay flat. So you really need this extra. And you can see on this side, the facing side is quite tight. So that's exactly what you want. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do now is trim and grade. And when I trim and grade this, I'm actually going to cut it right at my 3/8. And I'll just basically trim that off, and I'm going to go ahead and do all the layers. And then I will, so trimming and grading is very critical. Get all that excess, because all of this seam allowance has to go inside the collar. So I'm going to go like this, and I'll go ahead and do one of them so you can see what I'm doing. Then I'll get the other one ready, and we'll go to the next step. But we've got a few things to do here first. So once I get that 3/8, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim I've got some basting here that's in the way. Let me get rid of that. Okay. All right. So I'll come back, and I usually use my good gingers, but these seem to be working okay here. So I'm going to trim this down to 1/8. This is this interfacing. Oh, and it's a little bit tricky. Okay. All right, so I'm going to trim that down. Then I'm going to come to this side, and I'm going to trim this down to 1/4. Okay. Yeah, this does get a little tricky right through here. All right, so you can see there's my 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/8. Okay, I will go ahead and get all of this trimmed, and then we'll go to the next step after that. Okay, so I have trimmed and graded my seam allowances, and now I'm going to show you a trick. We've kind of used it on the cuffs already, but I'm going to use it here. But because this is an outward curve, when I turn that inside, make this curve seam allowance inside the actual collar, I'm going to have too much excess seam allowance right here on that curve. But it's a very tight curve, so I need notches, but I want to do a series of small little notches. So I'm actually going to use the pinking shears. And as you can see, the pinking shears will make a series of small little notches. You can see that. And I might, and I think that'll do it. Let's go over here. We'll try it and see what we think. But you want to trim and grade first, and then you go ahead and use this. Because I've already got, and I'm just going to go right all the way down there. Now right here, it still is a little bit curved, so I think I'll just do a little bit right here. And that'll keep it nice and smooth. Yeah, depending on your curve, a lot of times we only need to do it right here and right here, but I'm making a small size. This is a size 3. Some of you will make a 4 or 5, and so it may not be quite as tight, but because it is, I went ahead and pinked that whole edge.